Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Surviving Babylon. And she's written in before, and she sent in an audio recording of, I believe it's her speaking. So here we go.
Hi, Ollie. This is Surviving Babylon. You've done a couple of letters for me in the past. I want to have some guidance on narcissistic abuse and weight gain, obesity, along those
Why would you come to me about this issue?
lines. Because right now I'm feeling lost, just with the weight fluctuations, dieting, fasting, binging, and I just want to I have some insight on how people with issues like us, how we can keep our weight down, deal with the traumas that leads us to overeating, gaining weight, losing weight for a while, then coming back, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, I'm a Gen Xer like you. I'm going to be 44 this July. I started out life actually being a fit child. I lived in an urban area. I'm black. My parents were Jamaican. They were both narcissists. And I've always played outside, riding my bikes with the neighborhood kids and everything. I loved it. And I stayed trim. Food and weight was never an issue for me. My parents divorced when I was 5. And when I was around 8, my mother confined me to just being in the backyard. I couldn't go out and play in the street with my friends anymore. And nothing was going on in my backyard. I just had like a broken down swing set. Sometimes friends would visit me or whatever. So, I just went into the house and I just escaped into television and food. And that's when I started to gain weight and everything. And I was also dealing with abuse. My mother was physically and mentally abusive, and my father was neglectful. I would see him just on the weekends. There was also sexual abuse in my childhood. From the time I was 5 to around 11 or 12, I was molested by a male cousin, an older male cousin that my mom would regularly put me in the care of while she worked.
Of course, typical. Like, soon as you said you were locked down and couldn't play with your friends in the backyard, it just makes sense because it's, again, control. Food is instantaneous control. When we're out of control, our lives feel out of control. It feels like everything's slipping away or you're missing everything in life. Food is that instantaneous, dopamine rush, that instantaneous satisfaction, and your mother knew that. Your mother wanted to make you fat. Your mother was trying to ruin your childhood. And once again, we got another minority family. And this is not only in minority families, but we know it runs prevalent. Okay? Prevalent in minority families, especially some of those island cultures where everybody knows and it's a big fucking secret. And not only do they know, they keep putting, not only do they know it happened, they keep putting you in that situation for it to happen again and again. So in a way, you're trying to cope, you're trying to deal with food, and in deep down, you're trying to make yourself as unattractive as possible, hoping that'll keep these animals off of you.
He was about 10 years older than me, so when I was 5, he was like 15. And not only was he a molester, he would always also tell me things like, that I'm ugly, I'm fat, you know, and he would make sure to say that in front of my family members, in front of my mom and my uncles and my aunts, who never corrected him. So I just assumed that was true. So there was also that element of shame to deal with as well. And a side note, when I told my mom when I was 14, she didn't seem surprised in the least. The only thing she said was like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because he could have been molesting your younger siblings." So I think she set me up for that abuse.
Of course she did. Oh, you should have said something. Bullshit. If the immediate response isn't complete and total fucking rage and let me go fucking find that motherfucker and kill him, okay? She's full of shit.
As well. So that's another facet to my self-esteem and self-image as well. Issues with school, being bullied at school, But my mother, she always had like, she didn't deprive me of food. She always had like sugary snacks, like like the Little Debbie snack cakes.
Listen, Little Debbie's, the chips, all of that. Look, I live in the hood. I see how these mothers feed their children. Little Debbie's, okay, donuts, hot chips, soda, like Fanta for breakfast. They're waiting for the school bus. This is what they're eating, these kids. They're all overweight.
Ring dings, those type of things, and sugary
ring dings, ho-hos, Little Debbie's. That's all over the place.
Snacks and stuff like that. And I would just be in front of the TV and I would just eat and eat. And I wasn't I didn't get obese as a child, but I was chubby. And this was back in the 80s when diet pills were all the fads and those Diet Slim commercials and
Slim
everything.
Fast.
I would ask my mother, I remember being 10, asking my mother, can you get me one of those? And she'd just be like, ha, just diet and exercise, and mind you, she was a nurse. So
yeah, but I mean, in your mother's defense, a child, nobody should be taking those diet pills. They're horrible for you, especially in the 80s, let alone a child. Now, instead of her just saying, haha, diet and exercise, your mother should have been supporting you and helping you to eat right, which she wasn't doing. She was sabotaging you. Because with the food she had in the house, see, here's the problem. Okay, when the narcissist tells you diet and exercise, okay, they do nothing about the diet. They keep putting that sugary food in front of you. They keep buying you the ho-hos, the ring dings, the devil dogs, the snacky cakes, all of it, the cheesy poofs, all of it. So it doesn't matter how much you work out, how much exercise you do, because they're sabotaging you with the diet by what they buy. That's the thing. And in the 80s, like, they're making you think, like, you could take a fucking Dexatrim and stay. I mean, that was basically speed. You're basically taking a lower dose of meth.
She still continued to buy fatty foods.
Thank you.
And she didn't offer me any guidance into losing weight. But yet she and other family members
all right, I'm glad we're on the same page then.
Would make fun of me because of my weight. So that also brought like an element of shame, but food and television was my escape. I mean, I remember being in class in school as a child and couldn't wait to get out of school because that was its own prison in itself. Looking forward to what I would eat, like what snacks I would eat, what foods I would eat before dinner. Cereal, snack cakes, candies, all that stuff. but I just felt so fat. And I had younger siblings. I was the oldest, and they were encouraged to make fun of me as well because of my chubbiness. Now, when I look back at pictures of myself back then, I wasn't even really that fat. I was just chubby. But in my head, it just felt, it just was blown out of proportion, and that just brought another element of shame. Just shame and self-loathing and poor self-image and all those, all those types of things. But looking back, I get angry because I think my mom made me that way on purpose.
Of course she
did. And I came to that conclusion because
they always do it on purpose. It's always on purpose. That's why it's so damaging. It's so devastating. It's always on purpose. That's what I told you in the beginning of the video. She does all of this on purpose. If she really cared about your health and your weight, she'd buy better foods. She wouldn't just tell you diet and exercise.
She was abusive, and she was also emotionally withholding. I remember as a child, and I was a very communicative child, I would ask her, I remember once I asked her, Mom, why don't you hug me? I think I was probably like 9 at the time. Can you give me a hug? Why don't you hug me? And she said, well, I don't have time to hug you because you don't help me with cleaning the house.
I asked my mother that once. I asked her to either give me a hug or if she loved me. I called her into my room and she screamed, "Don't ever fucking bother me with your stupid bullshit," again, and walked out.
And I really internalized that. It's because of me, I don't help as much as I can. But looking back, any normal parent their heart would just melt, and they'd do what? Hug the child on the spot, right?
Any normal parent, the child wouldn't even have to have asked. No, any normal parent, the child would never have to ask. What child has to ask?
No, not her. And fast forward to when I was like in my teen years, my mom's friend had one of my mom's friends had a really obese daughter, and I overheard my mom gossiping to another friend about the daughter, and I heard her say, "I don't know why she's that big. Maybe it's because of lack of love. I don't know, blah, 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 blah." And that gave me pause because
lack of love, right? From who? A lack of love from who?
Never knew that she even acknowledged there was a connection between being starved of love and being overweight. But here she was discussing this, cackling with her friend on the phone.
This is what I'm trying to say about it's funny to them. It's funny. And in the Jamaican culture and that, it's common. We've heard the stories time and time and time again from Jamaican women on this channel. Not only Jamaican women, like all the islands. And in the inner cities as well. But it just runs, it's a community abuse. Like the whole fucking community's in on it.
So that's when I realized that everything she did to me, or set me up for regards to food and my weight and everything like that, was probably done purposely. Yep. I mean, she wasn't an uneducated lady. She was a nurse. She herself was overweight, but she was...
Again, there it is. Another nurse. Another nurse. Why do so many narcissists go into nursing in the medical field? Because of the power it wields. The power over their patients and the power to say, "I'm a nurse, so therefore A, B, C, D, E." Okay? And they're fucking up your life. The power it wields. That's why so many of them generate towards it. Just like that's why so many narcissists go to politics for power. It's power.
Very.
That's why you could see the same nurses who 2 weeks ago were standing out in the streets stopping people from going to work or trying to get their hair done or trying to get the economy going again. Then going out now and standing out on the street and applauding the rioters and the protesters. Okay? Same medical people. Okay? What causes that? Narcissism. Why are they doing it? For power. We're nurses, we know better. Even though it's right in front of your face. Well, I thought this COVID spreads through giant crowds and all, and you can't protest. And we were going to kill people with our protests at the state houses to open up. So much so that these women were going out there in their scrubs, standing in traffic, stopping it. Yet 2 weeks later, here they are applauding protests and gatherings that are 10, 20, 30 times any protest was at a state capitol. But that's all good to go. Do you see how it works? Do you see how the hypocrisy works? Do you see why the narcissists generate towards certain careers? That's why they can go running around making TikTok videos as people are supposedly dying all around, but the hospitals are empty at the same time. Like, do you see it? Do you see it? Because of people like your mother being in the medical field back in the 80s. Okay, the seeds of revolution take years to bloom, and I'm not trying to make this a political video, but do you see how it all goes hand in hand? Do you see it?
Slim and beautiful up until she had me.
Yeah, they always say that. You ruined their looks.
And she would always remind me of that too. You know, when
right, I was thin and beautiful. So once again, we got another black woman. And it comes down to what? Why is she sabotaging your life? Surviving Babylon? Why? Because she's jealous. Because she's in competition. Why? Because she thinks her only value is who wants to fuck her. Another one. Thinking with her pussy. Another one. Making decisions with her pussy. Ruining her daughter's life at a because she's competing with her vagina, with her daughter's vagina. That's what's going on. That's what the medical field, it's all about power. So she can wield that my vagina is superior. And you ruined me. So since you ruined me and you ruined my value, because all my value is in my vagina, I'm going to ruin you. Not her values in the medical field where she could probably save lives, because no, even if she might save a life, her goal isn't really to save a life, it's to obtain that power of being a nurse. So she can then tell you this, that, and the other thing and make you fat.
Even when I was a teenager, and I was a chubby teenager, I wasn't even obese. I think I was like 5'6" and like between 140 and 160 depending, and athletic, but chubby. And she would always say, when I was your age, I was a prima donna, blah 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 blah. Just making those comparisons.
Letting her
so
know
I think she did it on purpose, but I didn't get like out of control, my weight out of control, like more out of control until my first marriage to a narcissist, and I gained weight, a lot of weight, but I managed to lose that. I think I was at my highest at the time, 220, and after we divorced, 7 years later, I got back to 160, which I was like, I looked decent, just slightly chubby. And the second narcissist that I married, that's when my weight just got out, just really out of control. I think at my highest, I was like 250. And right now I'm back at 220. But I just noticed that when I'm in these relationships or in my marriages, it's like I have to turn to food. And it's like the only satisfaction that I get.
I understand that. Look, I mean, you all saw I was losing weight last year until I broke my arms. And I broke my arms, and then all that drama happened like last year right around this time. All that drama with those who shall not be named anymore. Okay, trying to attack the channel and all that BS and going back and forth, and my arms are fractured and I can't work out. And what did I do for the past year? I turned to food, and I couldn't get a hold. Things were just getting out of hand with me not being able to talk to Aaron. And like this last year it's been crazy with Charlene, like getting laid off, and then going through this and that. It's been a crazy year. It's just been constant food. Food's the only way I've been able to cope. And I went from 195 pounds, which is what I was when I fell off that goddamn scooter, okay, to 258 pounds. That's what I went up to. And you guys know the gym's back open, and I'm down to 244 now, okay? Believe me, I understand the weight struggle. I understand. We gotta figure out a better way to deal with stress. We gotta figure out what it is for me. What I always find, something gets in my, like, some obstacle. Okay, but there's always going to be an obstacle in life, and our problem is, we've dealt with so many obstacles and so much sabotage, whether it be from them or ourselves. Like, soon as we see it, it's like, oh, here we go again. Get me a bacon double cheese on the double, and you're gone. And then you're in this fucking constant struggle again. All right, now I got to lose weight again. Now it's back to the gym and this and diet, and like, I hate it. I'm like, yeah, it's nice to start losing weight again, but I hate it. I'm done with it. I'm exhausted. I'm 47 years old. I'm sick of this shit. I mean, you guys have seen me fluctuate from basically gone from 230 down to 140. Okay, and then I quit smoking cigarettes, which was a 4-pack a day habit. A 4-pack a day habit, I quit cold turkey. Okay, went back up to 240, back down to 195, broke my arms, and then up to 258 pounds. Since I've been running this channel. Exhausting.
I remember you saying in a couple of other videos that you've done, you mentioned that the overeating has to do with control. That really struck a nerve with me, because when I go out to get takeout or something like that, I do feel like this little rush, or the thought that no one could stop me. I can have this burger, or I can have this pizza. I want it right now, and no one could stop me from having it. It's a really weird thing.
Self-gratification.
And I think the other side to that is food doesn't disappoint like
Ever.
my relationships have, unlike with my relationship.
I will tell you this, okay, but it will come back with negative consequences. It doesn't disappoint, but it has consequences that will disappoint. And I will say this, okay, as I've gotten older, I'm having a much, much harder time digesting these foods than I ever did before. Like waking up at night with reflux, and like it's been a hell of a year. That shit catches up to all of us, and it always has consequences.
I when I order food or make something, it's like I'm getting what I signed up for. I'm getting exactly what I signed up for. If I'm ordering a double cheeseburger, milkshake, and fries, 99% of the time, that's
You're killing me. You're killing me. You got my order. Like, you're killing me here.
what I'm going to get. All right? Unlike with a relationship,
Like, you go to Denny's and you get like that double stacker, and you can order like a, and then they bring you one of those giant cake batters, friggin' sundaes, nuts, milkshakes. Oof.
I sign up for a good marriage, kids, someone who cares about me and I care about them, and get the exact opposite, abuse and fights and rages and all that, I ordered my food and it's exactly what I want. So I, order chicken wings. I don't go home and find out that it's pizza. So I that really struck a chord with me. But
Yeah, we got the same diet: chicken wings, bacon double cheeseburgers, milkshakes, pizza. Yep, that's it. That's how you go up to 258 pounds, people, or 250. That's how you do it. But that shit does have consequences. Yeah, it's satisfying while you're eating it. And then after you're done and you try to go to sleep, you don't feel so good about it.
but I just feel like I'm just like sort of like on a roller coaster, and I'm just sick of the cycle of being in situations where I'm not happy. I'm single now, okay, but I'm still struggling. I'm just sick of you know being in an unhappy situation and eating for comfort and gaining lots of weight and then being disgusted with myself and then losing the weight, like being motivated and losing the weight, not fully getting to my goal, only like halfway to my goal or quarter way to my goal.
Right.
And then going on the spiral again and regaining it. I'm just sick of it. I mean, and I know it's not a willpower problem because I'm able to go on veggie juice fasts for like a week, 2 weeks, but it's just, there's just,
Look, I've been eating nothing but salad with chicken and for 2 weeks, no problem. I can eat like that. I could go like that for months. Months. And then something happens and it's boom. It's how, look, our brains have switches on it. And those switches were installed by your narcissist. And when that switch gets hit, that switch is hit. I don't know how to, if I knew how to turn it off, I tell you. I would tell you. I'm going to make a point at the end because we're almost at the end here.
I just need to find a balance, and I need some guidance or some insight on how to get off of that cycle. Because I'm as I said, I'm going to be 44, and I'm just sick of it. And when I look back on my life, on what being overweight has cost me socially and probably economically, and I'm not an ugly girl. I've done like plus size modeling in the past and acting and things like that.
No, you're Babylon's on my Facebook. She's not ugly by any stretch. I know exactly who she is and what she looks like. So she's not ugly or by any stretch of the imagination.
But I know that I've missed out on a lot of romantic opportunities with good quality guys because I was overweight. Right now, I think I would be great if I could lose 80 pounds, you know? And I know that my weight allowed me to be targeted by predators, by narcissists who, who, who guessed that I would be easy prey. And they were right, you know? So just any insight that you can give me on just how to stay on a healthy track and lose the weight and taming these emotional monsters in my head, that brings me right back to square one. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Here's the best advice I can give you, because this is what I did and I've done. Because just by my age, as you get older, you feel differently physically. And I looked at myself and how I was feeling, and again, like aches, pains. I couldn't I could barely reach my feet. I could barely put my shoes, I had to wear flip-flops because I could barely put shoes on. My feet, remember my feet, my legs were all swollen, itching, bleeding. And I looked at myself and I said, I'm like, do you really want to fucking die? Is that what you want? Do you want to die? Because that's what you're doing to yourself. That's what we're doing. We're killing ourselves slowly. We're killing ourselves with food. You know that. Obesity kills, man. It kills. We're not meant to be this big. And we're at that age, whether you like it or not. We're in our 40s. We could die at any time. We could have a heart attack at any time. At any time. Especially being the weight we are. If we're not. It is what it is. I don't even want to know. Like, I'm sure if I went in for, like, data, like, I would need some kind of clearing out of my arteries or something. I would have to. I would have to. I'm not ready to die. Not for them. Not because of their abuse. No way. The fact that we're able to keep losing weight and that stubbornness, that's why. And look, it ain't easy. It ain't easy to keep dropping weight and losing weight 50, 60 pounds at a time. It ain't easy, but you do it. Why? Because you have willpower, because you're stubborn, because you really don't want to die. Do I want to fucking drop dead? And if I drop dead right now, who's going to even know it? Would anybody even find me? Obviously my wife would, but would you? Would anybody? If you're out? If you're alone? The fact that you're in no contact to me means we have to take better care of ourselves because there's not many people around. Which is another reason why you eat in the first place, because it's so depressing to be no contact in the first place. Because it's against biology. It goes against all types of biology. Tucker Carlson had a segment this week about cults and Antifa and how it works. And the first thing that any cult does is they separate you from your family. Now, in our case, we have to be separated from our family. Because our families are, what do you do when your family's abusive? You have to stay away from it. It doesn't mean it's not against biology, because people need families. You need families. the way it's supposed to be, but that ain't in the cards for us. Unfortunately, it can never be. Which makes it all the more depressing, which is what you're fighting, which is why you keep going back to something. Because we have to fight biology, because the alternative is even worse. Because of what we were born to and what raised us, and the toxicity of our own families. So the real question, and the best advice I could give you at this point, Babylon, with somebody who has been right there with you, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm living it right now. The best question you can ask yourself to keep yourself motivated is this worth dying over? Do I want to die? Do I want to live in this prison? Because really all you did is you made your own backyard with your body that your mother kept you in as a child. That's what it is. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for another contribution and story, Surviving Babylon. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. And believe me, YouTube and Google are going to make that happen sooner or later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to follow me on the Library Backup app as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.